We want to tell you tonight, again, we're talking about how to get the heat back on in your marriage. Do you think that is something that a lot of couples who've been together for a long time deal with, the loss of passion in their marriage?
I agree. Yes, I agree that after you've been married for a while, that you kind of do lose a little spark, just a little bit. But you have to really turn that heat back on with intentionality, because it's not something that's going to be automatic.
Yeah, I think sometimes
Yeah.
in marriage, in relationship, people panic when the passion starts fading. But the thing is that passion doesn't just disappear, it gets buried.
Yes.
And what are some of the things you think causes passion to be buried?
Well, one of the things that I think that causes passion to be buried is stress. You know, when we were younger, I could think about when being a child or a teenager, or even in our early 20s, the stress level that we had back then does not compare to the stress that we have now, getting ready to be 33 years married, you know, the age that we are, everything that's going on. But that work stress it hits different.
It hits different,
Yeah.
not just work, but like you said, you alluded to what's going on in the United States. It's like a dull noise. It's just always something coming every day. And stress, quiet as kept, is a silent killer.
Yes.
It can literally kill you in terms of heart attack and stroke. It can also kill your sex drive. You know, when cortisol takes over, it starts eating away at your good hormones and eats away your testosterone if you're a man. And the testosterone is like our lifeline to, you know, sustainability. Y'all know what I'm talking about, fellas? And when stress comes in, it's a killjoy. It kills your joy. But not only stress, what about parenting?
Oh, yes, the responsibility of parenting. And if you have even multiple children or just one child, just trying to keep up with their schedule and your schedule, and keeping up with teachers' conferences and homework and bath time and lunch.
You better lift your hands and tell God thank you that your kids are grown and the last ones get ready to graduate college. Thank you, God. Get them out my pocket. Get your hands out my pocket. But no, man, I remember when those kids were smaller, going to wrestling matches, going to baseball, going to taekwondo, getting haircuts, doing homework, breaking up fights. And by the time it's time to go to bed and make some love, you're looking at each other like, child, please.
Well, and especially if you haven't determined your own parenting schedule, parenting plan. Like each parent parents differently. And so sometimes you may find yourself as a couple at odds with one another when you're really trying to do the best you can to parent your children.
Passion gets buried by stress, parenting, and emotional disconnection. What are some things that cause emotional disconnect between a man and a woman?
Emotional disconnect can be when your own body starts to neglect you because you're aging. Emotional disconnect can be if there has been some trauma or something that's happened in the marriage. It can be so many different things, just where you're not really being intentional and speaking into your partner. That emotional, where you're feeling neglected, where it feels like the weight of being in the marriage is more on one spouse than it is the other. There could be some emotional disconnect on financial things. It's so many things where emotional disconnect. What do you think could be some things for emotional disconnect?
I was just sitting here thinking as you're talking, and to be honest and transparent, to show you we're not just being theoretical. The other day, man, I just felt like I was suffering through a low-grade depression. A culmination of work, parenting, thinking about my sons, the things they're going through as grown men, the responsibilities I have with ministry, where some of my close relationships are not us, but friends,
Okay.
colleagues, and I just began to feel, like you said, alone. And I really had to fight through that thing. And I believe there's a lot of people out there listening that are finding themselves like, what is this heaviness I feel creeping up on me? And I'm pretty much an optimistic person. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
And
I said absolutely. Absolutely.
you told me the other day, you said, you're built different than I am. I'm tired. And you keep going like the Energizer Rabbit. But that Energizer Rabbit, my battery ran down the other day. And if you're not careful, if you're not self-aware of where you are with all of this chaos and your own emotions, you can walk around and become emotionally disconnected from your spouse. And it's not even them.
Right.
You know, and I love the fact that you check in with me and you're like, how are you feeling? How you doing? And you pretty much know when your spouse is not themselves. And again, the key, we say this over and over again on our podcast, the intentional thing to do is to turn toward each other,
Right.
not away from each other. Because if we ever needed our spouse, it's when we're not feeling our best.
Yeah, and how we communicate that, whether you're knowing your spouse or if it's just the little nuances that are not the same, being able to catch them and not internalize them thinking that, oh, it's me as to why what's going on, and not all these extenuating circumstances that may be causing, whether it's, you know, the work stress or the parenting, or as you said, with the emotional disconnect. We just have to be in tune to our spouse to a degree so that we can catch those things.
Can we also keep it 100 tonight and say that one of the things that causes the fire to go out in a marriage is boredom? Nobody want to eat chicken every night, except for you.
I like chicken.
And y'all, when I say eat chicken every night, can you imagine eating the same meal every night? And no pun intended, but sometimes when you've been married a long time, it can feel like you're eating the same meal over and over again. And so you have to, I ain't gonna get into solutions right now. I just want to talk about the fact that boredom and routine. What would you say about getting stuck in a routine?
A routine could be that, oh, it's gonna be the same position, however many times that you decide to be intimate, sexually intimate with your partner. Or a routine could be once a month, or hopefully not once a month, but you know, just in the rut, or it hasn't happened, and so I'm not gonna ask for it. He's busy, she's busy, where you just get caught up in the busyness, and that routine takes you out of your bedroom.
So I hear y'all talking. I hear you screaming at us right now. Okay, we got it. Passion can get buried. It can get buried with stress and parenting and emotional disconnect and boredom and routine. How do you cut the heat back on? I'm glad you asked that question. We're going to give you 6 ways that you can cut the heat back on in your marriage. Number 1, y'all need to flirt like you're still dating.
Well, not like you're still dating, but continue to date.
Continue to date.
Yes.
But let me go back to my thought.
Okay.
Flirt like you're still dating.
Okay. Well, tell me, what were some of the ways that you would flirt with me when we were dating?
I'd be like, "Ooh, girl, you looking good.
Oh,
Watch
so
out
compliments,
now.
okay.
You looking fine."
Or I would tell you, "Ooh, you smell good. I like your haircut." You know, continue to.
You know what I like when you do now?
What?
Stroke my beard. Oh yeah.
You're so silly.
She said, my wife said, "You look so handsome. You so handsome." And I said, "Really? Quit playing. Don't play with me. Don't play with me." I like it when we give each other compliments, when we kiss each other. You know, like who's that? Freddie Jackson. You love me just like the first time, and it will always be the first time.
You have a song for
I
everything.
do. Love me like the first time. I think it's important that y'all keep flirting with each other. Give each other little compliments, little pats on the behind, whatever it is that you need to do to keep that thing fresh. What's another thing they could do?
Let's see. Another thing that you can do is maybe build that anticipation.
How you do that?
I would always say that intimacy doesn't start 5 minutes before you go to bed. It's all day long. So continue to, send those texts, send flowers, or send them some coffee, or take them lunch, or say, hey, I'm in the parking lot. Let's go to lunch,
Or walk in my office with just your coat on and show me something.
How is that building anticipation, though?
Because you're going to flash me and then say, I'll see you when you get home later on this afternoon.
Would that really work?
Yeah.
If I just flashed you and then be
I'll
like,
probably chase you down.
Exactly. So that's not building any anticipation.
But the text messaging, the calling, I like when you call me in the middle of the day, hey, babe, what you doing? Just think about you. Those little breaks in the monotony of the day, hearing your lover's voice, seeing some pics on your text message, getting text message, those little pleasant interruptions throughout the day give you a sense of anticipation. Ooh, when I get home. Or just taking a picture of your panties and your bra on the bed and sending that to me. When you get home, these will still be on the bed. Or something like that. Anyway.
So they will still be on the bed, but not on the body?
Yes. You caught that?
Oh, I just caught it.
Another thing that you can do to cut the heat back on your marriage is change the atmosphere. Why is it important to change your environment up every now and then?
Well, I would think because, one, you're all most times at home. Home is built with routine and stuff. And then the other thing is going away from home, spending the night in a hotel, going on vacation together, going to the beach. That just takes weight off of me because of the responsibility of being at home. I don't have to think about cleaning or think about meals or all the things that come with being an adult and adulting. That change of environment increases the likelihood of the intimate connection.
And I hear a lot of people saying, yeah, right now money's funny, change is strange. Gas prices, jet fuel's gone up. It's hard to get away. Well, sometimes you got to do a staycay. But you can transform your bedroom into a playpen, right? A place where y'all can have some fun. Light a candle. Play some music.
Take all the clothes off of that chair.
Yes. Clean up your room.
Yes.
Light an incense. Get some mood lighting. Heat up your massage oil. Put as we used to call back in the country, make you a pallet on the floor. Put your little blanket. Have a picnic in the middle of your bedroom with some cheese, some grape, and some wine. Go in the bathroom, put some rose petals down in the bathroom. Heat up her bathrobe. Wash her back. Get in the tub with her. It doesn't take it takes some creativity. It takes some intentionality. Because if y'all tell the truth, y'all probably been doing it the same way, in the same place, at the same time for so long that it's just routine and boring. Cut the fireplace on. Change up your environment. What's another way they can cut the heat back on in their marriage?
Something else you can do to cut the heat back on in your marriage is just, what I like is just to talk about the things that you like.
The things you really want.
The things you really want are the things that you like. Also, your husband, your wife is not going to be able to live in your head. So they don't know that, okay, that spot doesn't work for me anymore. Let's try something different. Let's have sex on the couch in our bedroom, as opposed to in the bed, by changing it up. So, having these conversations out loud with your spouse will really help bring that intimacy back.
I have a couple of people that I talk to sometimes, and they'll say, to be honest with you, that bothers me. Because the whole time we've been talking, you ain't been honest. Why?
So they say the words that bothers me?
To be honest with you, why do couples tend to swallow when they need to speak up about what they really want in their intimacy, in their sex life? Why do they withhold that?
Well, they may withhold it because they may not feel safe enough to share some of their most intimate thoughts. Or it could have been a time that was in their marriage where if they did bring something up, a response like that particular response came up and that person just stuffed what they wanted to say back down and wasn't really truthful with their spouse and was like, well, that's the way he is, that's the way she is, so nothing's gonna change, so why should I voice my opinion?
And they're afraid of judgment.
That part too.
Or shame. Why you want that?
Where'd you hear that from?
Where'd that come from?
Where'd you read that?
Who you been with?
All right.
What you been watching? Can I just have a creative moment? And sometimes our preferences don't mean that something's wrong just because our pleasure is different from yours.
And also, just because you voicing something doesn't mean that that's going to happen. You're just saying, hey, this is some of the things I may have been thinking about, or how do we might incorporate this. It doesn't mean just because you're voicing it that, oh, now automatically it's something that's going to be a green light.
And let me say this, when you are hit with something that your spouse wants and you may not be there ready to give it to them, your answer still needs to be in a way that they can still be able to come back to you and talk about what they want. Mm-hmm. I've learned this in customer service. The best customer service is even when they couldn't give you what they want, you still walked away feeling like you got something, right?
Right.
And so that is so important. I went to Sonic's the other day, and they got my order wrong. I wanted a combo, and she said, well, you didn't order it. We didn't charge you for it, but here you go. I said, well, that's great customer service, because I did say I want a combo. She just didn't charge me for one.
Okay.
But how can you give your spouse something even though they didn't get what they wanted? You still got to be able to say, I appreciate you sharing that. I know it took a lot for you to ask that. And maybe later, who knows, I could give you that. But I'm just not there right now.
And those answers are not going to be automatic. So you have to keep talking to one another so that you can act in maturity and be like, you know what, I never thought about that. Well, let's think about, that position a little more. Or baby, my knees are not how they used to be.
You ain't got the Megan Thee Stallion knees?
Absolutely not.
What you got? What kind of knees you got?
I got Rhonda Faye Spencer knees, 56-year-old knees that pop occasionally.
Pop it like it's hard.
So you might have to, reimagine how some of the things you asked for could maybe even take place.
When you're working out, a lot of the instructors will say, if you have an injury,
right, let's modify
this movement. So some of the stuff that your spouse wants to do in the bedroom and you may not be physically able, modify it. Mm-hmm. There's pillows you can purchase. There are different positions you can try to reach the place you want to be. The last thing I want to say about turning the heat back on your marriage is to protect your emotional connection. Protect your emotional connection. Sometimes we drift apart. We cool off because we're not emotionally connected. In order for the passion to be hot, there has to be a connection. There have been times when I've been trying to iron something. I'm like, why is the iron? And I look down and the plug is halfway out the wall. And because I didn't have that connection, there was no heat.
That's a great analogy.
Ooh, come on, girl.
Okay.
If you don't have that connection, you ain't gonna get no heat. You can be walking around wrinkled up. So the way you keep that connection is through forgiveness. Mm-hmm. It's so important that we refresh the mainframe of our relationship by acknowledging when you've messed up. And sometimes it's the slightest little things. But what your spouse wants to know is, are you going to acknowledge how you disappointed me? Are you going to acknowledge how you hurt me? and I don't want to go preachy, but the Bible tells us that if our brother or sister offends us, to go to them. How am I supposed to know you're mad at me and you don't tell me what's going on?
Or if you're always mad at your spouse about something, then you have to communicate on the very first offense, not when you got 5 or 10 and then you just start rolling off. Well, last week you did this, last week you did that. And so that's going to make the other person kind of back.
You got to deal with your disappointment in bite-sized pieces and not allow it to become an avalanche.
Yes.
And so that's through talking, that's through forgiveness. It may even be through counseling that you have to restore that emotional connection. But all of these things lead us to the place where we turn the lights back on. Turn the heat back on. And like the weather patterns right now in the world, they're unpredictable. With all that's going on in the world, there are a lot of unpredictable factors that are taking place. But I love what I saw on Bel Air the other night when Will Smith's character, his father came back, played by Marlon Wayans, and the son got into some legal trouble, and his daddy gave him this advice I never will forget. He said, you got to control the controllables. Control what you can control. We can't control the economy.
No.
We cannot control the weather patterns. We cannot control what's going on with the war. But what we can control is our hearts and how we intentionally approach each other as married couples. So I hope tonight that we were able to walk with you guys and to help you to figure out, first of all, why does passion disappear? It disappears because of stress. It disappears because of parenting. It disappears because of emotional disconnection, boredom, and routine. Well, how do I get it back? You get it back by flirting like you did when you first met each other. You get that thing back by building anticipation, sending texts and pictures throughout the day, changing up the atmosphere, talking about what you like, keeping yourself attractive. Oh, man, I don't think we even said that one. Keep yourself attractive. The same thing y'all did to get each other is the same thing you got to do to keep each other.
Yes.
So my wife don't want me coming to bed smelling like outside.
Nor do I want you coming to bed tearing up my sheets and you haven't got your feet done.
So I go and I get my mani-pedi. Yeah, I go get it, man. Fellas, it'll change your life, man, when you go and get groomed and take care of yourself and manscape and do all the things you need to do. Take a shower at the end of the day. Come to bed fresh. If you want her kissing all over you, you got to make sure you keep yourself attractive. And ladies, don't let Victoria's be a secret. Don't put the bonnet on until it's time to go night-night.
Right, afterwards.
You know what I'm saying? I want to ogle you. I still love seeing my wife undress in front of me. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? And then every now and then she's going to put on something sexy and spice it up. Keep yourself attractive. Anything else you want to say about turning the lights back on?
Well, when you were talking about, protecting that emotional connection, just making sure, I can't stress enough, that you continue to check in with one another, because you don't know what the other person has been going throughout the day, but making sure that your relationship inside the home with your husband or with your wife is where it needs to be.
Good stuff. Listen, thank y'all for being on with us tonight. If this was helpful for you, would you do us a favor? Would you leave a comment? Would you like, share, and subscribe? Thanks. Many of y'all are already a part of our tribe, and we appreciate you being a part of the Eden Restored tribe. If you want to go deeper with us, talk about stuff that we can't talk about, on YouTube. I'm talking about take the gloves off and use the language, grown folks language. We are board certified sexologists, and there's a lot more we want to share that we can't share on this platform. We want to keep the standards up. But if you would like to go deeper with us, you can join our continuity group where you have a coach, you got coaches, and you have community. We have about 16 other couples that we meet with regularly, and we help them to go deeper in their intimacy. and we'd love for you to walk with us. So if you want to be a part of our circle, simply go to www.theedencircle.com and subscribe today. We'd love to have you in our inner circle. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's about it.
All right. Well, love you guys. Go cut the heat on. Light your fire. Stoke that fire. Get busy tonight. Love on each other. Go run your bath water. Give each other a massage. Do something different tonight and watch that fire be reignited. All right? We appreciate y'all being on tonight. And until next time, we want you to continue to be naked
and unashamed.
Yeah, that part. All right. We'll see y'all next time. Be blessed.